Hello and welcome to session one of Free from the Yoke. And we're taking up with a little bit of that character creation process. Last time was session zero, where we built a lot of the map, we built the houses. Before we went to record here on air, we added in our fourth house, and we're going to be looking at getting the characters in play, getting their connections made, and then rolling forward. So there's a little bit more character building at this point, but we have the greater structure of what we're going to be playing from already built at this point. So we're going to be going through having folks introduce their character, what they're imagining for them, what they've chosen, and we're going to kind of work through. So Brian, you are our ambassador. So tell us, do you have a name for your ambassador?
I've got a list that I'm picking through, but haven't
Pronouns?
settled on one.
He, him, she, her, they, them, something else?
I might go they, them.
Okay, all right. So tell us who this character is, how you're imagining them.
I mean, this is someone who was raised to be an ambassador, and so they've I basically picked whatever gave me the highest cunning, because that's their thing. That's what they've been taught. They're a leader, and try to be a voice of the people, but then use their affection against their leaders to advocate for their faction's interests.
So at the start of the game, you will have promised some luxuries to your house, essentially, to your people back home. What do you think you've already given them that they're enjoying right now, or that has improved their lot, as they said in the book?
Yeah, I mean, I think I think the uprising and all the troubles here have there was a lot of needs here, so a lot of trade took place that was pretty advantageous for back home.
So just sheer coin has been coming back their way.
I mean, that would make sense. I know that's a surplus that we currently.
Well,
that's one of our needs. No.
Yeah, and so let's say that's one of the things that is expected by your homeland, is to establish some permanent trade agreements. Like, there's been trade that's been opened up, but they want a commitment to a permanent connection. Does that seem fair?
Yeah, I think locking in some of these favorable arrangements makes a lot of sense now, before things get more established here, and they can try to negotiate harder than they were.
And what did you pick for your two moves?
The moves are Voice of the Crowds. When you seek out the troubles of the downtrodden or persecuted, roll plus cunning, and you can learn a weakness of the ruler, how to evade the ruler's attention, or how the rulers maintain their control. And on a 10 plus, the people will shelter you or defend you if you get into trouble. And Sly Words, like all successful politicians, you know how to exploit the weakness of others. When you use someone's shameful or illicit secrets as leverage, when you're finding common ground, they have to choose. You promise to keep their secret hidden.
That is nice. Excellent. And we will come back to you to get a name and to get those backstory questions here in just a bit. David, do you have a name?
Of course not. No.
Okay. Well, then, do you have pronouns?
Um, I think I'm gonna go. So I'm being the lore master,
Yeah.
and I think I'm gonna go against type and be a woman. So
Okay.
I think I'm gonna go with she/her.
And what do you want for the role move that you're going to start with this woman? Are you imagining someone young? Are you imagining someone old? Somewhere in the middle?
I'm thinking young as far as the keepers go, maybe. So
Okay.
maybe like 30, 40,
Yeah.
somewhere in there.
What would be considered old in the rest of the world, but just a youth amongst the lore masters. Okay.
Yeah.
What role is your lore master going to start with? Which thing? Leader, champion, rogue, outsider?
Yeah, so maybe a weird choice for the first character, but I just keep coming back to rogue. I think this is going to be
Okay.
the most interesting.
So you start as a rogue, which means that you start with the realization that a core part of your house's culture is a fabrication. Say what harm that falsehood is causing to your house or to outsiders. What do you think that is?
Oh, I get to start with this. Interesting.
Yeah.
I think she is. I'm picturing her kind of idealistic,
Mm-hmm.
and I think she believes that everyone should have the runes, the words. Like, why are we keeping them? This doesn't make sense.
So you believe that the need to protect them is a kind of a falsehood that is being propagated at the highest levels?
Yeah, like why don't they trust us? Kind of, or why don't they trust the people?
I think that there is a faction that exists in one of the woodlands of the land that know some of the techniques that uh, uh, also think that these things could be shared out. They keep themselves private because they're a little bit unusual, but we'll just call them the people of the woods. So there's a faction that exists, an NPC faction that sort of follows that path. Does that seem cool?
I love that. Yeah.
And then what do you think you want for your playbook moves?
I haven't finalized it yet, but I know for sure the ancient magic uncovered is one I'm going with, which works out really well with people of the woods too. So
Mm-hmm.
when you rest in the wilderness outside modern civilization, you may spend an insight to dream of ancient lore and gain one vision. Capitalize, so I assume that's a thing.
Yes.
Spend the vision to gain advantage on an enacted ritual, or spend 3 to learn a ritual from the land.
Absolutely. It's a good thing to kind of do that and build up that vision for use there. And there's some other good lore master moves, but I'll let you think about that and pick. And we'll come back to you. And when we come back to you, I'm going to ask your name, and then we'll check on those backstory questions. Okay.
We don't by any chance have like a name list or anything for the culture we're going for?
What I've been using, and I would recommend, is, let me pull up a link to this. Hang on.
I use that.
Yeah, I use if you go to the fantasy name generators, Slavic names, Ukrainian names, Kazakh names, these are all good cultures to draw from.
Oh, perfect. Good.
Yeah.
Glad I
I just picked Kazakh because we're the nomads. So
yeah,
awesome. Thanks.
Okay. Scott, I'm going to come to you and ask you about your character then.
Sure. All right, I'm Samat. He, him.
Okay.
And I'm going to be playing the role of the scout.
Interesting. And tell us about Samat.
Well, let's see. I don't want us all to. So we have champion and leader, which I wasn't going to pick one of those. So that I think I'll be the outsider.
Okay. So Mark, when you work with a group your house is on bad terms with, say what proof you have that your house is mistaken about them.
So who are we not on good terms with? Well, of course,
We've got the PC houses. We have at least 2 NPC houses that we've established, the people of the woods. But we've also established that, and we mentioned this last time, that there are the old nobility still
Ooh.
exist in the land as well.
Well, it's gonna be them. All
So
right.
you're working with the old nobility. What is it that your people feel about them? Like, are they fat and weak, or are they exploitative, or are they not dedicated enough, or are
Our
they too
people,
violent?
my people say that they are too shrewd and cunning to be trusted.
And what proof do you think you, Samat, have that that's not true?
Well, in my experience, they tend to be too gluttonous and too much of what's the word I'm looking for here? I'm just thinking like
Indulgent?
they're like yeah, exactly, indulgent. They're almost like dilettantes. They live to be pleasured and to have pleasure. They don't have time for politics.
So you are really working with them not as a friend, but as these are people that we can, we shouldn't avoid. We can exploit them.
Right.
Okay. And I think that the nobles are certainly pursuing an agenda of trying to cement some of the old rights, some of the lost places, to regain, and a lot of land has been redistributed, but someone has to oversee areas, and they're trying to get some of those people put into to place. What did you choose for your moves, or what are you thinking about?
So I'm going to be picking the know your adversary.
That's a good
And
one.
and then I think range far and wide.
Okay. You can roll bravery to appear from an unexpected direction in a scene.
It gives me 2 bravery moves though. Let's just do it. Let's do it.
Lean into a strength.
Yep.
The horses of your people, are we talking light, fast, quick? Are we talking heavy, strong war horses? Are we talking something in between?
I think they are stocky but fast. So
Okay.
they look, they look kind of shorter. They don't look as sleek as a racing horse might be, but they have exceptional strength in those legs, which pushes them on.
Excellent. All right. So we'll come back to you to talk about backstory here in a second. Alexi, let's swing around to you. Tell us about who you're thinking of.
Yeah, so I'm going to play Ivana, she, her, the Bogatir. That's the kind of warrior playbook. So she is a champion of the Church of Uncreated Fire. I'm thinking that this is someone who, for like some time during her childhood, was thought to perhaps be one of the prophets, right? Like they're the church is ruled by a conclave of prophets that kind of, and the prophetic mantle is passed down from generation to generation. So they're always seeing which children in the realm might be the new prophets. So she was a candidate, and then she washed out. Turned out she didn't have the prophetic mantle. She wasn't going to be a leader of this house, but she still loves the house, so she fought for it. And I think she fought in the revolution. She lost an eye on the front lines, but proved herself a capable warrior and is now a champion of the church.
And what foe have you sworn to face? What
All
what is
right.
the threat or the foe that you have dedicated your life to dealing with?
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Right. Champion. Mark when you swear an oath to confront a particular foe. Gotta have an enemy out there then. I think the imperial official who executed who gave the order to execute the last conclave of prophets has found their way to uh, some kind of role in the new realm, right? Like they defected at some point. They
Open the gates of a city.
yeah, exactly. So they after their terrible crime against my house, they defected from the empire and joined the revolution at the very end. But the church has sworn not to forgive or forget.
So they are named Nazar Rud,
That's good.
and they are one of the arbiter's trusted associates.
Because they came over and they brought shared some secrets of the empire.
And I think that until you take care of them, you will not be touched by thirst. You will not be touched by hunger. But at the same time, anything that you eat or drink is like ashes on your tongue. It has no taste.
It just
But
just reminds me of my oath.
yeah.
Yeah.
And what about the moves that you've taken?
I took Sworn Sword for when I begin a duel with someone. I have these different statements about whether am I fighting to protect someone else? Am I fighting to hold true to a sworn oath? Am I fighting to demonstrate my skill? And it gives me some cool stuff I can do while I'm dueling. And I also took Against Countless Enemies. No matter the odds, you can trust in your skill with arms. Your melee weapons always have the cleave tag, and you never suffer disadvantage from being outnumbered.
That is nice. And cleave is full effect when ever outnumbered. So your scale remains the same effectively there. All right. Well, we're going to come back and talk to you about backstory. One of the things I didn't go through with everybody is everybody has a death move that's based on your role. Of course, that will actually based on your playbook. That will change. You keep track of those. That will be a delightful surprise if your character dies. This is the one game I've run that I've killed the most PCs in. Just going to tell you that right now. So let's come back to Brian. Brian, what is your ambassador's name? What is their name?
Their name is Ziv.
Okay. And what does Ziv look like?
Oh yeah.
Do they present male? Do they present female? Do they present ambiguous? Something else?
I think it's ambiguous.
Okay. And you can say, "Lol, I'm still looking for a picture," and that will be absolutely a fair thing to say to me at this point.
I am, but they do give you some choices. So ambiguous, smooth face, piercing eyes, angular body.
And do you think they appear younger than they are, appear older than they are? Or is it pretty easy to tell what age they are?
First, I need to think, what age are they? Yeah, I don't think I think they probably look their age.
Okay. So let's let me ask you this. This is an interesting thing. Do you think that that gender fluidity or that NB or ambiguous appearance? Do you think that's unique for Ziv, or is that a cultural thing amongst your people?
I think it may be a thing
Okay.
somewhat common among my people, and then also very common in the position of ambassador. I
Okay.
think it makes sense that because I'm representing all of my country.
That's really interesting. So you've got on your character sheet some backstory questions. And let me tell you the mechanical effect of backstory. There is none. There is, I believe, in the aid action, some justification for if you're helping a character that has a relevant backstory with you, you take advantage when you're helping them. So that's the one mechanical thing from backstory. And you can choose. You should do at least one. But you can do more of those backstories if you want, and you can pick one of them, call it out if you think it's appropriate for a particular person. You can say that. If you want to just call for volunteers, you can also say that. Before we go too far into backstory, because this does start to hit on some things, let me very quickly run through our lines and veils, just as a reminder of what we have on the table. So right now we have lines on epidemics, we have lines on sexual assault, we have lines on torture, peril to pregnant women, infants, essentially then to double down pandemic and plague, and also scat, bodily fluids, any of that kind of gross body horror kind of thing from that. We're also off the table. And then we have veils on harm to children, homophobia, sexual content, and slavery. And then the two things that we have ask firsts on, meaning that, and so if we're going to do that, we want to stop and check in, are mind control and PC betrayal. Now you're going to be competing with one another, but if we're having a scene where you're going to backstab or do the big reveal thing, we're gonna stop and talk and negotiate about how that looks.
And I just added one more line,
Yeah. Okay.
which was childhood abandonment.
Okay, perfect. So we have that
I hadn't
as well.
gone through yet.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I should check to confirm that you did. And Scott, if there's anything else you want to add at any point, I will certainly keep checking in session to session to make sure, because it's a living document. So now, Brian, backstory.
Well, my first one is pretty juicy. So does anyone want to have told me something that was great for my house and disastrous for theirs?
Ooh.
I'm sure that's very tempting.
Anybody want that to connect you to our ambassador?
Yeah, I'll go for that.
Okay. So what do we think that is?
Let me think about that for a little bit.
Okay. I'll take a sip of my honey tea.
Okay, I finished copying and pasting, so now I have to actually think.
I think I told you the secret of our. Oh, that's too much. That might be too much.
Great for my house and disastrous for others.
Go big.
I think I told you the secret of how we breed our horses.
Ooh. How do you think that happened, that Samat revealed that to Ziv?
Going to our lines and tails. Are you how old is your character? Ziv?
Um,
I'm trying to
in-
create a romantic entanglement. Like I don't know if you have a sister or a daughter, or my character is going to be cis, straight male.
Hmm.
So I was trying to create a romantic entanglement wherein getting your favor. I perceived that it would benefit me in that endeavor.
Okay.
That kind
sister.
I mean, that's a pretty big secret to give up. So usually only a moron does that when they're in love.
So Ziv has a beauteous younger sister that you're in love with, Samat, and that's why you gave up that.
Are you okay with that, Brian?
Sure.
With Ziv? Oh, perfect.
Okay.
Awesome.
And we'll call her Anzhela, Anzhela.
Beautiful.
That way I can go and get a picture. Sister. Brian, do you have another one of those backstories you want to throw out there?
Well, the next one is, and I have blank, and I have a history that is quite unprofessional. Anyone interested in that one?
I could jump on that maybe. I feel Stoina is who I went with. Is the rogue, so maybe she's not very professional.
Yeah, and what kind of unprofessional?
Yeah. Do you have anything in mind? Maybe let's see. So far we know that she's working with these the people of the woods. Maybe Oh, what if like she wanted to study them more or something, or just be with them, I guess. To study and learn and teach them, but the teaching thing is kind of illegal, so maybe Ziv kind of for whatever reason argued on her behalf, like, oh, you should really let her go to the woods and be with these people. Why wouldn't she be there? Something like that. And that was kind of a personal favor. And it was such a weird thing that this ambassador from the envoys came to the keepers for this. So like, oh, okay, sure.
So is it kind of that the unprofessional is that you kind of just think of Ziv as a friend rather than the implications of their role? Or is it something else?
Who are these people? They're
So we've established that there's a woodlands where is another faction of people of the woods that kind of keep to themselves that have some magics.
I mean, maybe, yeah. I mean, maybe it's for Ziv in particular. This isn't like a professional thing. This is like she just has, or Stona has this. She has this interest in them, and then Ziv, they just have, what's the word I'm looking for? I had it, and then I. Yeah, it's just an. I'm just blanking on the word. Like there was a word there, it just disappeared. But just she's very interested in not maybe they're not like integrated with the rest of society. They keep to themselves. So like there's not a lot of professional reason for her to interact.
Okay.
For them to interact, but
I have maybe a pitch.
Just affinity. I think that's the word I was looking for.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They just had this affinity for them, and so has interacted with them, and maybe like their vacations are to go, spend time with them, and so they were able to kind of make introductions and give you an in.
Yeah.
So the unprofessional is more of a kind of a friendship and a sympathy of interests.
Yeah, I might have a pitch for you, Brian. Maybe
Okay.
so I had that the keepers kind of come from everywhere and go to this library, to become keepers. So maybe we we're either possibly related or like just grew up together, like childhood friends kind of situation. And so that's kind of the motivation for like, oh, Ziv, can you kind of help me do this thing as an ambassador from the envoys? And that could be
Sure.
how it's unprofessional because it's kind of a like, oh, I can't believe that's just, I don't know, nepotism kind of like, oh, of course they would help each other because they grew up in the same village or something like that. What do you think of that? Is
Sure.
that fly?
So were you like born in among the envoys and then left that faction to become
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe
Okay.
so just the keepers kind of anyone who wants to learn here can come here, and she maybe wherever Ziv grew up, she was from that same area, and eventually went to college and became a professor and never came back theoretically.
Excellent.
Okay.
Brian, you've got a third backstory question. Do you want to throw that one out, or do you want to hold off on that?
I mean, if someone wants it, blank saved my life when a deal went very wrong.
Oh yeah, that's definitely going to be me, right?
It would make sense.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
what happened?
I mean, I dragged Ziv's hide out of the fire. After the negotiations broke down, and someone someone just tried to destroy the entire entire like negotiating hall. The place where the diplomacy was happening was going up in smoke, and I hauled Ziv out of there. Does that sound good?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think Ziv, they'll push hard in a negotiation and maybe at times are not aware that maybe some people don't stick to just words. And things got a little out of control.
Excellent. I think that gives us your three backstories. So let's come to Stoina. David, we can need to pick at least one of those questions.
Yeah. So where did I put? Oh yeah. I picked the one most interesting. Oh wait, where'd it go? I thought I did. Hold on, sorry.
That's okay.
I lost it. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I don't think blank knows I know what they did. Sounded the most interesting to me.
Ooh. Does
there it was.
Does somebody want that?
Say it again. Sorry.
I don't think blank knows I know what they did. I guess it would kind of make sense for Ziv if we grew up together, but I think anyone could really hop on there.
Happy to take it.
So
It does make sense.
So what is it that you did, Ziv, that you don't think Stoina knows?
I always tend to just build on whatever we've already done. So it's got to be something involving these people of the forests. Maybe I started a family with someone in that community.
Oh, I love that. That's really interesting. Oh, like maybe your spouse or something is one of these people, but it's kind of hidden because they're sort of outsiders, I guess.
Secret family that even your
Like it,
your sponsors don't know about, right? The people that you report to don't
Mhm.
know about this personal life you've these different routes you've put down.
Sounds good.
Sorry, I don't mean to meddle. I just am
Yeah, no,
entertained
I
by
think
that.
I think that's the idea.
Awesome. So that may come up again. I don't know. I'm just thinking it might come
I'm
up
sure
again.
that's not going to cost anything.
Secret family for zoo. Okay. We'll come back to you, David. Do you have another one you want to do, or are you good with just the one?
Let's see. Well, that was the one that totally jumped out to me.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'll leave it at that.
Okay. That is fair. Scott, what about you? What do you have for your backgrounds?
So I like to. I'm going to read them both out loud first because I may just go with one.
Okay.
It depends. I'll let the group kind of decide if they want to jump on both of them or just one. So they would be, I guided so and so through the wilderness, never again. Or I'm always happy to return so and so's hospitality. And I'm fine taking both of these or just one. Just reading the table for interest in those.
Anybody interested in that to build that connection with our scout character?
I could I could have gone through the wilderness with you.
All right. Sounds good.
Though of course the question is why never again?
Oh, you had you wanted you well, you were scared of every noise at night. You wouldn't admit to it. And honestly, you wouldn't stop
It's not
talking
scared.
because
I'm
of it.
just vigilant. I just have to stay on guard.
I've
You know,
never
in
met
case
somebody so vigilant and talkative the entire time. Just people go out in the wilderness to be by themselves.
I thought you might enjoy a disquisition on the finer points of the development of doctrine in the Church of the Uncreated Fire.
This is perfect. That's perfect. I love it. Thanks, Alexi. That's great.
Nice.
All right, and then the other one, if somebody wants it, is I'm always happy to return so and so's hospitality. But again, I'm fine having just the one as well, so I don't want
to. Unless Brian wants it, that sounds like that could work. Maybe Stoina is just so interested in these people.
Always happy to return Stoina's hospitality. Great. Just need to check out your spelling there.
So what kind of hospitality does Stoina offer?
Yeah. Go ahead.
No. Oh, well, no. I want to hear your idea first.
Well, yeah. I was thinking she is kind of almost like a traveling kind of, I don't know, professor, I guess, but or teacher, and she's especially kind of interested in this one kind of person, at least like right now in her, or not person, but this people right now, at this point in her life at least. But maybe before she had been more interested in the horse lords, and finding more about them.
And you're a lore master, right?
Yeah.
So I think you know stories about the horse lords that I've not heard. I mean, you even know some, true or not, you know some stories I've never. So it's always a joy to hear these stories.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
It's nice, a nice eclectic perspective to Stoina that we're getting here. Scott, do you want to do your third one, or are you good with those two?
I like those two. I didn't love the other one. I was looking
Okay.
at one of the other playbooks for later. We'll see.
Okay. Then let's come to Ivana. Which of your backstories do you want to throw out there?
Yeah. So Blank and I fought a duel once. They won, but only barely. Um, I find it hard to imagine this fitting anyone but Samat, given the like amount of might going around in this party, but or in this group of characters.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm open to another pitch, but I thought it might be our Horse Lord Scout here.
Yeah, I like that. That works great with the other connection that we have.
Can I briefly interject and say that's definitely where she lost her eye in this picture?
Oh my goodness! Wow.
Wow. But it was a friendly duel.
That
I mean, totally up to you, but that's the first thing
I
that jumped out to
didn't
me.
realize your people define friendly as to first maiming.
But if you lose an eye in a fight, but you still walk away from it, maybe it was friendly.
Yeah. Think of the eye as it's a built-in system of redundancies. You know,
Stereoscopic vision is overrated.
but yeah, if you don't use a bow, then you're fine.
So are you good with that, Alexi? It gives us some interesting dynamic that we can play with. How you feel versus how you appear to feel in that.
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Why not? It was a duel that maybe got out of hand. Where I feel like perhaps Samat went overboard, but I can't contest his victory, so I just have to wait for a chance to make clear that I am the more powerful warrior.
Perfect. And then do you have another one of those backstory questions you want?
Yeah. I respect Blank's devotion to their house, even though it caused me trouble. Can I give that to Ziv? Because I think we've established there was some moment where our house's interests aligned, but then you overstepped in those negotiations, and I ended up having to rescue you, possibly fight our way out of the collapsing diplomatic scene. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah. Makes sense.
So I always feel like you've got trying to work too many agendas, and I respect that the envoys call on you, right? That you have this crucial ambassadorial role, but I just think if you played things a little simpler, there might be less need for my bodyguard services. So that's
Perfect.
my take. I like that.
Do you want to do your third one, or are you happy with those two?
Those two work for me.
Okay. So here is the big question that we're going to decide and walk through, and then we're going to take our break before we roll into the court. The arbiter starts with a project. This is the thing that they wish to accomplish, that they are going to be driving your houses to do, be driving NPC houses to do, gathering resources for. There are 5 listed. One of them is a sort of more end game project, so we're going to hold off on that. But let me talk briefly about what those 4 are. Then we're going to decide on which one. We'll walk through some questions for it. The first one is a grand construction. The arbiter is building something that will change the land. It can be a border wall. It can be a bridge to support people's from across the river. It can be rebuilding a town. It can be a dam, be a lighthouse, whatever. It's some big project that the arbiter is undertaking. Second one is expansion. The arbiter wants to claim new land or lands that have lay fallow for whatever reason, isolation or dangers or things like that were despoiled or rejected. They want to bring those in. And to do so, they'll need to convince others to make the crossing or to build new places for them to live, or to work out what to do with the people that live there, or to change things in there to make it a habitable place. So that's expansion. The third one is transformation. The arbiter wants to reshape some aspect of society. They might want to modernize traditional practices. They might want to expunge all forms of empire-bought modernity. They might want to install a national church. They might want a new order of nobility. These are big societal changes. A new language or the imposition of a language. These are all things that could be involved with that. And then the last one is open war. War is upon you. We start with the land at war with someone. And the question is, can the land's forces prevail against the opponent or at least avoid losing lives in a senseless war? And we would figure out who it is that you're battling with in that decision thing. So I want to go around and pull the table and get a sense of which would be your like 2 picks. And if there's one that you're like, bleh, you can say that as well. We'll go in that same order that we just did. Brian, if you had to pick 2 of those, and you can even rank them first and second pick, what would you say?
I'm just trying to run through them in my head. So
Sure. It's construction, expansion, transformation, open war.
I guess I would say maybe expansion, then transformation would be the 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
And David, what about you?
Transformation was definitely the one most interesting to me.
Okay.
I think also construction sounded pretty interesting.
Okay. And Scott, what about for you?
The same 2, transformation and construction would be my top 2 choices.
Okay. And Alexi?
Construction or expansion, I was most interested in.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to suggest. We've got kind of a tie in an informal poll here between transformation and construction. So what I'm going to suggest is that we start with construction because it's an easy, concrete one.
Yep.
And then we'll kind of like the next one we'll look at is transformation, just because that's a good one to follow up. And that'll also kind of give us something to work towards. So is that okay with everyone? Okay. So there are some questions that we're now going to answer about that grand construction. And we're going to go in the same, we'll actually go in reverse order here. We're gonna flip the script. We're going to ask these questions. Alexi, we start with you. What is being built? A port, a bastion, a fortification, a city, a monument, a bridge, a dam. What is it that is being constructed?
Man, a big aqueduct to bring water from wherever there's a better source of water, kind of down to some of the major settlements of the land, like First Throne.
Okay. So David, where on the map is that construction beginning for this aqueduct that is being built?
Yeah, I like that it's going toward First Throne.
Okay.
I don't know if we have any mountains per se. I guess
We've got a
the burnt-
volcano, but is there no, do you want to say that
Yeah.
there is a mountain somewhere?
Yeah, I was thinking maybe there's like a mountain range that the burnt pot is part of.
Okay. So I'm going to grab.
So kind of from the middle of the map to the eastern, southeastern edge, I guess.
Let me grab a mountain here real quick. Put that on there. Da, 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 da. That was the wrong folder. Okay, let's see. It's huge.
That's a big mountain range. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Shrink that a little bit more here. I think I managed to steal your dried up spring in the course of that too, because I'm an idiot.
It's okay. We'll just move it off to the side a little bit.
Move that down there. Sorry, let me do that. Let me shrink down a little bit more. Okay, so we got a little mountain range. Does that look good to you, or do you want it on the other side, David?
No, that looks good. That's a far way for an aqueduct. That sounds good.
Okay, so we've got that aqueduct there. So then, Scott, who is the construction displacing or disrupting?
Well, it's displacing us.
Okay.
It's disrupting. It's disrupting us.
Okay, so it's definitely going to impinge on the horse lands on the steppe there. It's going to have to go through there.
Yep.
And then Brian, what problems do you think, besides this disruption, do we need to overcome before the construction can go further? What is it? A political will? Is it materials? Is it the volcano? What do you think is the issue as an obstacle?
I think we just had an upheaval. I think skilled labor. I think there's just manpower is in short supply.
Desperate need for manpower, skilled labor. Big issue. All right. We're going to take a break. We're going to take about 10 minutes. When we come back, we'll hold court. That will set the stage. It'll tell you, we'll see the arbiter. We'll collaboratively build what that court looks like. And then we'll talk about how the project gets increased or knocked back. And we'll go to some house moves after we have a chance to see our characters kind of in the same place, interacting and talking with one another. So let's take about 10. So we'll go to about 41 after, and then we'll come back.
Awesome.
So Oksana Chernish is our arbiter. Tell me one thing about her, either look or style or something that gives us a detail we can grab onto.
And she's essentially the firebrand, currently leading the large number of warriors that make up the arbiter's forces.
Absolutely.
Mm.
I'm gonna need someone to bring my
I
calendar.
think she wears a cloak that's been partially dyed red to represent the blood shed by heroic martyrs in the course of the revolution to overthrow the empire.
Yeah, she has done that. Some of her lieutenants have followed suit, but but she has this. It may be a cloak that was taken from an imperial general that would have been Snow White, that she has dyed this red.
Absolutely. Yeah, the generals wore white cloaks to represent how they were above the muck of combat, and she's taken an imperial white cloak and dyed it like red, up to the elbows.
Nice. And then Brian, we come to this moot, this court that's being held. Where do you think that ceremony is being held, and why? It can be an established place on the map, or it can be someplace new that we come up with.
I mean, looking at the map, the First Throne and the Broken Shield are both tempting places, right? Because the Broken Shield could be a big, victory. Whereas the First Throne, part of their ideals could be going back to an earlier time that, some ideals that they believe the Empire lost. I think I like the Broken Shield better.
Okay. And what is the reasoning for holding it there?
I mean, it's a place that it was a stronghold of the power that was used against the people, that was supposed to be unbreakable and wasn't. So yeah, it's just
it's a mark of triumph. It's a mark of reclamation of this place. These there are still markers of the empire here that are being torn down, and so we're in this, and we're probably a year, maybe or so from that fall. We're still kind of in the post-war glow amongst these firebrands. Now, one of the ceremonies that we established is that one of the celebrations is a chaotic, enthusiastic melee before a baying crowd. Stoya, who is fighting, and are they is it just rugby, or are they enacting something? What is that melee that we see?
Let's see. I kind of want to go dark on this, right? Like,
okay.
Please stop me if I go too far. But I'm thinking it's like this is a way to extravagantly execute criminals. So it's like everyone who did terrible things, they're like, maybe they have like hoods that have like faces painted, somehow signifying they're the emperor or part of the empire, even though they probably weren't. They're just regular criminals, or maybe they were traitors. Maybe they're war criminals or something. And then the melee is just kind of warriors just killing them, like let's interestingly as possible.
Something severe, like their crimes merit the severity of punishment according to the laws of here. Do they have a chance? Can they survive this melee, or is it pretty much a given, just a ceremonial thing?
Oh yeah, I love that. Maybe if they are able to survive this, then their mask or their hood is ceremoniously taken off, and it's like, well, now you're part of this nation and not the empire.
Nice. So there is a chance of redemption there. We see that calling out, that crying out. One of the things we've established about the populist forces of this firebrand of Oksana, the Arbiter, is kind of a utilitarian, simple gear that marks out their forces. Tell me, Scott, what are the bits and pieces outside of that we see as decoration? Maybe from the nobility, maybe from your own house. I mean, things that aren't this fall to very plain, simple things. What do we see on the screen? You're muted.
You think like a year of working in this, I would know to check.
The word of the year from Webster's this year was "you're muted."
You're all
so
muted. Yeah, I said that in a party at our work. I was like, "That's the phrase of the year here at work." But so this would be like the decorations that the rest of us might be wearing. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so just some. So we've got some bone carved necklaces, bracelets on the horse clan. I think. Let me get the names here correct. The horse lords, sorry. Yeah, I think jewelry is what you see on both men and women. So, you know, earrings, necklaces, bracelets, different amounts. I'd say you probably do see more on, say, the horse clans as nomads. The simple things like that would be, you know, but and we do have two kind of brainier factions.
So that's interesting. It's not that we've got banners or rugs or tents or things that are built up to display these things, but rather that the people are kind of showing off just a little bit in the face of this austerity through these objects of small beauty and things. Excellent. So we take up this has been going on for several days, and this is a chance for the different houses to meet and talk. We have all four of your houses, our horse lords, the keepers of the old runes, the envoys of the Umot Alliance and the Church of Uncreated Fire. We also have essentially the Arbiters people. We have mentioned as an NPC faction, the People of the Woods. We have the Old Nobility, mentioned them, and we can make up other factions as are necessary. We can figure out who they might be, and they're meeting and talking. Yes.
I think I remember. Wasn't there some kind of crafts guild or something that?
Yeah. The Crafters Guild that are resentful.
That's right. I thought they should be the new arbiters, and the keepers kind of nominated this firebrand.
Yes.
I think
the Crafters Guild, that may be why we have a shortage of skilled people too, is because they are holding back from supporting things maybe as well as they might otherwise. And there is, following this melee and following the bringing in of the survivors into the lands of the house, there is a great proclamation. Oksana gets up at this grand outdoor table and talks about this aqueduct, a way of bringing waters from the mountains, something that was in the works, she says, before the empire came in and put us underfoot. And now we will bring bounty and health to places along the coast. We will show and gather our strength in that way. And talks about that. Now let me go meta here for a second. The project track will increase when a house delivers anything that's useful as a surplus for construction. And I'll write these in on the sheet later, but includes raw materials, artisans, engineers, recruits, defenses, leadership, all of those things. If one of those is delivered, that track moves forward one. When we hit 5, project is complete. There's a parallel track, that's the doom track. And that will go up when the construction collapses or subsides, saboteurs attack the building site, leading engineers and architects fall out or suffer illness, or if our turmoil rating exceeds our control rating, which is one of those things that will get shifted by failed moves from GM reactions and things like that. So that's how that is going to go up and down. But there's talk, murmurs amongst different people about what this is going to mean. And once that is settled down, and that the sort of big meeting breaks up, our arbiter calls for each of you to come and speak with them. And it might be you as the PC, or it might be you as the PC amongst other representatives, or it might be, that your character is not involved in this. So, Alexi, when you are called to talk to the arbiter, to Oksana, who is it that goes? Is it Ivana, or is it someone else? Is it a group of people?
I think it's Ivana accompanying a high-ranking scribe from the church, so that we
Okay.
have the arm of the church and the mind of the church both represented.
And you're called forward. You talk of what you've done, and here's where we have the first roll. You will be rolling the holding court move with your favor, which is
Oh boy,
a
my
-1
favor is
right now.
-1. That's true. Where is holding court?
Holding court is under the house moves. No, I'm sorry.
Hold
Actually, it's under
together.
the favor and ages.
Ah, well,
Beginning
there
of
it
each
is.
season, arbiter calls on each house of note to serve them. Roll plus favor.
I will do that. So shall I just make a roll in this dice room?
Yeah, we've got a dice room there. Go ahead and
All right. 2d6 -1, and I will call this. It's holding court is the name of the move. Of the name of the
yep.
move. Yeah. So let's see if the arbiter will look with favor on the Church of Uncreated Fire. I see. I have rolled a 6. All told.
All right. So on a 6 or less, the arbiter is looking down on you. You're beneath their notice. Mercifully, they don't ask anything of you. The church is outside their considerations. When you're called, you and Ivana come, some formal things are made, but then you're dismissed before you can make requests, before the arbiter can make demands. And when you leave, you can see the people from the other factions realizing that the church has been discommoddated in some ways. And you can see the shifts of power that goes on. You will lose influence on each other faction.
So down to no influence.
And I think that what we see there in place of the church is we see the nobility. They're a little bit better dressed. We can see that gifts solid coin money has been given to the arbiter, and there's a sense that they're moving in to kind of take your position of influence. Does that seem fair?
Yeah, we'll see how long they hold on to that. But
Exactly.
yeah.
Then let us move to the envoys, and you do this move a little bit differently, right, Brian?
Right. I am not from here.
Right. And tell us how that move works.
While you live in this land, you aren't beholden to the arbiter. The one who controls your fate is much more powerful, even if they are also far away. Your relationship with your patron is tracked with trust points, starting each age at 1. At the start of each age, decide with the GM if you're tasked with the progress of doom. Progress or doom of the arbiter's project. When you add one of those points, gain 1 trust.
So what do you think? Do you think that your people want this aqueduct to be created or not?
I mean, I can make a case either way. So, I mean, what they want is trading partner. They want to extract wealth from this land.
So it kind of seems to me maybe they do want the aqueduct. Like
an
at
aqueduct
least,
could help.
Yeah. But plus it's running through the middle and untapped resources nearby.
Plus, if we can just claim like a little portion of ownership of that aqueduct,
yeah,
we'd be happy to be able to make that argument.
Absolutely. Then you will also then roll with not from here.
Okay, I'll go ahead and make that roll. So it's an 8.
That is an 8. So on a hit, you are respected in the arbiter's court. You can pick one of those results from not from here. And is it Ziv there speaking with Oksana?
Yeah.
She welcomes you. She hopes that you have some interest in what will be happening with the aqueduct, and she appreciates the trade of your country.
Oh, these are all interesting. I mean, the simple one would be to just swap this surplus of weapons for something that actually is needed to further the project. That's like not that exciting.
Do you want one of the other ones then?
I'll go ahead and read them out. You turn someone within the regime into your asset. You hold a private meeting with someone no one else will know. You hear a rumor about events in the nation that bears further investigation.
Well, you do see there are some of the agents of the arbiter there, including this notable former person from the Empire, Nazar Rud.
I mean, that seems the most interesting. You turn someone within the regime into your asset.
So after you've finished, I think there is that moment as you are heading out. And Nazar Rud, he has the bearing of an imperial. He is one who turned things over. And he will come in and he will say, Ziv, how are you? We've not spoken. So we had a chance to speak before when I was on the other side, but but now that we have come here, we've not had a chance to speak.
It's good to see you as always.
What is it that I can do to aid you? I know the Arbiter would want me to be of assistance to you.
Of course, I think we could be of assistance to each other.
And he, this is beautiful fabric here that you have.
Thank you.
Is it from your homeland?
Yes, of course. At these official events, I must represent my homeland.
It is gorgeous. My wife would love to have fabric like this.
I think many wives would.
You see him stop. He's still trying to fish for some sort of bribe from you.
Mhm.
to
Sure. Yeah, I'm sure I must know his wife. I mean, is he asking just specifically for a dress for his wife, or is this like he wants fabric?
You have the sense that he sees that you're a powerful person,
Mhm.
and he would love to be in your service to get something from you. And that they have the sense that he's willing to assist you. Maybe he can help smooth things in the future.
Mhm. Mhm.
If he has a reason to be friendly and loyal to you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think now is the time for the details, but maybe just arranging, a man of your, experience and taste, you are still very valuable to your people here. We should discuss how you.
Absolutely. Perhaps I can come and visit you at your stead, and we can talk of these things, and maybe we can make some arrangements, or I can get some of this. My wife would never forgive me if I didn't get some of that to take home to her. We will speak in the future on this. And you can tell that he is a weasel who is very easily put in your pocket. Stoya, keepers, the old ruins. How do the keepers feel about the treatment of the church? Are you pleased, or are you nervous?
Yeah, because they were kind of brushed aside.
Yeah.
Said. I think the elders, they think maybe there's just like one elder at this, or maybe one or two at this thing, and maybe amongst themselves, of course, without outside the ears of anyone else, they're like, well, that's awful what the Arbiter did, but they, of course, they had that coming. They stole the fire, the word for fire. So
exactly, it's just
based on our histories. Of course, this would come back around.
Yeah. And Stoyna is somewhere around, but I'm sure not involved in any of these negotiations or machinations, right?
Yeah, I think she might be. I was thinking to maybe foreshadow her in the scene. Maybe she's one of the maybe like the page or something of one of these elders.
Yeah.
Just like, she's out and about in these woods, but she has such great potential. She should come see one of these meetings.
It's a once in a lifetime opportunity. Let us have the Keepers of the Old Runes roll. Holding court at -1.
Yeah, and I have a special thing too, where if I laud or chastain them, I get advantage or disadvantage. And I think obviously they're going to laud them. I think, does advantage, what does that mean in this?
You'll roll 3 dice, take the 2 highest.
Gotcha.
And then
Okay, that makes
-1.
sense. Yeah, so I think the way they laud them is just maybe one of the elders, for no reason. Like, no one invited them to speak, but they're like, after the arbiter speaks, just like, yes, and what a beautiful thing that this will do to all the people, the thirsty masses that were just dying under the imperial rule, that the arbiter now will bring the gift of life, of water, to all of them. What a beautiful undertaking.
And then let's have you roll 3 dice, take the 2 highest.
Interesting. Yeah, I've never used this program, but it seems pretty easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. It is 6 plus 4 my highest, -1 though. So that is 9, I think,
9.
if I'm doing that correctly.
Yeah. So you are called in, and Oksana speaks with the elders of the Keepers and says, we appreciate your words out there. It is good to know that the Keepers have the interests of our nation at heart. And we appreciate that. There are some within our land who have not been willing to commit themselves to our work. You know of the old folk, the people of the woods?
I think I've heard of them.
And we'll say this is the Red Forest. We'll call it the Red Forest, is what they live in. It's the old one of the old forests. We understand that they have some knowledge of the runes, like yourselves. So we think that you are best suited to go and speak with them and convince them that they should come and make a pledge to us. Can you do that for us, Elder?
Well, I think anyone would be a fool not to. And, I think I know just the person that might be willing to do that. Should be easy. Consider it done.
Excellent, excellent. Then that is the task that I put to you, in addition to helping out with the aqueduct.
And of course, I'm sure we know so many people that can, I'm sure, aid with that in the construction or the plans for it. Just
Good.
Ask and you will receive.
Perfect. There it is. And the Keepers are dismissed. And last but not least, the envoys of the Horse Clan, the representatives of the Horse Clans, the Horse Lords, who is there at this meeting?
I think Samad is at the meeting.
Okay. And is Samat go with the others to speak with Oksana, the arbiter?
Yes. So it's Samad, and then a handful of other representatives from the clans.
And she will greet you, well met, we are pleased to have the strength of the horse lords aiding in the growth and development of our land. Let's have you roll with influence. Now you have a +1, so there's almost no chance you could fail.
Not a chance at all.
Not even. I don't even know why I'm having you roll.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I rolled a 8. That's good. For folks who don't know, the last Free from the Yoke game, which is themed slightly differently, we liked to roll around the 4 range if we
Yes.
could. You know, if you could roll
I don't
5
remember
or under,
a single successful roll from Scott during the course of that.
we had a really good time rolling 5s and below.
So the arbiter will say, I understand that what is coming may be a challenge for you.
Yeah, I mean that's yeah. I mean, kind of. I can't believe I'm talking to you. This is such an honor. If I could just interrupt, I'm sorry.
What
I
is your
shouldn't do
name
that.
again?
Samat?
Samat. We are well met, Samat.
What? I mean, its honor is all mine. Well met. Goodness.
We wish you to undertake a task that helps not only us, but you as well.
Okay.
South of here, south of the Broken Shield, along the borders to the Southlands, there are old bastions, many of them destroyed from the time of the imperial occupation. They were burnt or undercut in the falling back. Those lands have been relatively unoccupied for some years. But we have heard rumors that there is some danger that is now there. If you, your house can investigate and deal with this weirdness, then we will certainly grant those borderlands to the horse lords.
Oh, that is more than generous. Not only would it be my personal honor to serve in this way for you, but I will ensure that our clans meet all your expectations and more in serving the needs of everyone here, while the cost may be great to ourselves.
That is all anyone can ask, to shed blood for our people.
Indeed.
And we'll nod to you. So what I'd like to do is do a couple paired scenes at this conclave, and then maybe bring the 4 of you together to have a conversation, just to kind of do some character interplay here. So let's start with, let me see here. Let's start with Ivana. Where do you think you cross paths with Ziv?
I could imagine, the 2 of us just, stepping out for air, during the festivities, right? Presumably there's a great feast, this evening. So I could imagine these 2 characters, just crossing paths as each of them has, for their own reasons, stepped away from the main celebration.
And what's Ivana's mood when we see her? What do we know? Is
stormy, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, like kind of mulling over the slight paid to her church by the arbiter today.
So Ziv, you see Ivana, who you know, steps out and about in the cool evening air here. and I assume you hail one another. And what do you think of Ivana?
I mean, she saved my life.
Yeah.
So I think I have pretty positive feelings
Yeah.
towards her. I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember, like,
Yeah, I think that's the main thing we established in backstory.
She hauled your butt out of a bad trade negotiation.
I'm just trying to think about how I feel about the church.
Yeah, you've seen that they got dissed, so
Yeah.
to speak.
I'm trying to remember, like,
I think we established there was some warmth there, that because the church has adherents outside of this land, so kind of like the envoys, we have not quite to your extent, but we have a connection to the wider world. So I think that ended up being a kind of net positive thing.
I know the envoys have influence on the church. I'm trying to remember why.
It might have been sheltering us when we were persecuted or something.
Is that it?
It sounds plausible to me.
There's too many details to remember.
Yeah. Which house sheltered your people when the Empire persecuted them? I think we established that.
That was it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I think that was you. Yeah, you see Ivana just kick a rock, that goes flying, knocks over some leftover bit of heraldry from the melee before.
I'm sorry to see you're not enjoying the festivities.
And you're having a grand old time then? I didn't necessarily think the melee would be your speed, Ziv.
The discussions that happen during it are of more interest to me.
If you can call them discussions, my church was left with barely a by your leave from the arbiter, and the nobles have had every chance to cozy up to the new regime. Seems like money talks more than eloquence, at least at this court. And she glowers.
Well, it often does, and among all people, greed and selfishness rules many people's minds, unfortunately.
Don't give me aphorisms, Ziv. We've been through too much together for that. What are you really thinking?
It's not just aphorisms, it's true. And these times, like most times, are difficult. People look to what will get them through. The good thing about it is you can count on people to do that. You need to be prepared to appeal to those motivations.
I have something older than people to count on. And she takes the vial of ashes, around her neck that she holds on to. I just pray the fire's ways will be clearer to me. At the moment, I'm feeling lost in smoke here. What do I do?
I mean, if influence is what you want, you must seem to be useful to those who can give it.
Assist with this aqueduct project?
Yes, that would be a start.
It will be hard to convince the church to commit if they feel rightly slighted by everything the Arbiter is doing.
Well, they shouldn't commit without assurances that their contributions will be appreciated in kind.
I think I'm going to cut there with that sort of conversation, that kind of back and forth, a little hesitant that goes on. Elsewhere, I want to bring Stoina and I'm going to get names wrong, but we'll get to them eventually. Stoina and Samat together. Stoina, this place is just, there's so much to see here. That Malay was incredible. It has been a striking several days. And as you're kind of moving out to maybe think about, okay, where do I go from here? What's the next step? You will see Samat. And that Samat kind of has some respect for you there. So, Stoina, what do you do?
Yeah, and I think so. Stoina's kind of wandering around. I think she has it's like a leather bound kind of journal type thing that she's like writing in furiously and also like sketching, like, this is the architecture here. Oh my God, this thing over here. Then I think she starts, maybe Samat is stationary somewhere and she starts drawing Samat and she's like, wait, hold on. Samat, it's been so long.
Samat, where are you? What are you doing when Stoina calls you?
I think I'm. There's some stalls here. I think I'm. Oops, horrible camera angle. I think I'm in between, like, trying this food and that food. Various vendors have set up. Sometimes there's some food I'm not familiar with here, but basically shooting my allowance.
Okay. And you hear Stoina as you're contemplating what can I get with these last few coins I have, looking off the distance. That's when you hear Stoina call out for you.
Stoina! Oh my! This is a treat.
Yeah, and I think she goes to like hug you, and she's like, I can't believe it. Maybe too forwardly, but she's like, I can't believe it. Like, I haven't seen you in years. I didn't think I would ever see you here. This is incredible.
Well, I just saw Oksana. It's pretty crazy.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
What did she say?
I can't talk about it out here. That doesn't seem right. Let's go in. Let's go in. Let's go into this tavern. Those are safe.
And I think her face is just like instantly just dejected when you're like, I can't say. And then when you say here, she's like, yeah, let's go.
And then,
And-
so yeah, we'll relocate and get some drinks and well, have you heard of this aqueduct?
Yeah. I don't know, I guess master. Yeah. My master told me all about it. And I guess I have something too, but I mean,
Sure.
yeah. What do you know about it?
Well, it's going to cut through some of our territories. So looks like Oksana personally asked me to go scout out some lands in the south that seem to potentially be, um, a place where we might our clan might be able to relocate.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I guess it would cut right through the. Yeah, I didn't think of that. That makes sense.
Do you think she can be trusted, Oksana?
Oh, of course. I mean, she won the whole war. Why wouldn't she?
Well, I mean, good with the sword doesn't mean one is good with the truth.
Well, yeah, I guess, but I mean, she picked up the sword only because she loved the people so much. Everyone knows that.
You've convinced me. I will do her favor. I can trust her. You're right.
And I think as the two of you are kind of having some drinks and so on, that's the moment. Ziv, Ivana, as you're kind of moving in that, like, okay, where do we go now kind of way, you will see through the open doorway of this makeshift tavern that they've got set up. You see Stoina, and you see Samat, who are, I don't want to say they're conspiratorially talking because neither of them are very good at that, but they are definitely talking with one another. And of course, Stoina is one of those runes people that made out pretty well today. So, Ivana, what's your reaction to seeing the two of these together?
I realize I don't think we ended up establishing a connection between Storna and Ivana.
Just Samat.
Yeah,
There's the person who took your eye.
there's the person cry, but we also had that nice wilderness trip. So I feel like
Yeah.
it's like mixed, overall. Yeah, I'll say there is another true warrior here. Perhaps I will seek his perspective on this. Ziv, you know the rune reader there, don't you?
Yes, Stoina.
She's always seemed Ivana like clearly like weighs her word for an appreciable pause and then says strange.
It's maybe what I like most about her.
I like you, Ziv. Let's go. What's the word? Hobnob? What is it you call what you do?
Let's just go talk to some friends.
And the two of you can come over and join. Certainly, the bar person seeing people of a little more repute come in will kind of clear some space away, so the four of you can have some opportunity to speak with one another with some privacy.
Yeah, I will up nod at Samat and say, "You seem in good spirits, old friend."
Ivana, it's so good to see you. Ziv is your sister here. I was in good spirits before, but now I'm in very good spirits. Ziv, tell me, is your sister well?
She's well. She's well.
Has she traveled here with you?
She's here somewhere, but
Well, do please tell her that I asked about her. Anzella. Is that how that's pronounced?
Yeah. That's how we're pronouncing it.
I can pronounce that way. Ivana, you are looking very well, very well. How are you? I'm very sorry about your eye again. Still sorry.
You know, I'll do like a sort of non-committal grunt in response to the eye comment, but I'll say, if my church were faring half so well as I look, I would be looking happier.
I'm sorry to hear that.
You saw the Arbiter disregard us entirely, as if we were mere ashes under her crimson-hued cloak.
Seemed quite rude. But you know what? Stoina says we can trust her, so it's okay.
And you trust this Stoina? And Ivana
Oh.
will just with her single eye give a appraising glare in Stoina's direction.
I trusted the logic of his argument. She was a good fighter.
There were many good fighters on either side of that war we went through. Or don't you recall the Imperial regiments that put up such a fight against your horse lords?
You know, now actually, you're making some pretty good logic too.
Stoina, you're being talked about sort of in the third person there a little bit, I'm noticing. What's your reaction in this conversation here?
Yeah. Well, I think she has a big greeting for Ziv too, like childhood friends. Like, I can't believe you're here too. You and Samat, like, fortune is written. Incredible. But and then maybe this conversation goes on. And she's like, well, Ivana, it's a pleasure to meet you. And I think, there's lots of people that fought in that war, but I mean, Oksana was the one who took up her weapons for the people. That's obvious. And, it's just proof of her wisdom that she takes such great counsel from all these various and varied people. It's strange that I don't know if I'd agree with her treatment of the church, but we have to trust in her wisdom. She has the benefit of the people in mind, obviously.
I would say we will judge her leadership by her actions, and the construction of this aqueduct will be of great benefit to the people. She seems to be taking the right advice in that regard.
And I think Stoina like puts her arm on Ziv and says, in fact, her wisdom's so apparent. My master is sending me to the Red Forest personally to talk to them. Obviously, she's kind of like winking, like, great benefits there. And I'm one of the best people to go there. Very wise decision, I think.
The Red Forest? The abode of those reclusive peoples of the woods?
Yeah, the very same. In fact, Ziv and I, again, like almost like too obvious, like, huh? Ziv and I, spend a lot of our childhood there.
This I did not know.
Very interesting, kind, hardworking people there that, in the Arbiter's the Arbiter's wisdom, she's wants to invite them into our new fledgling nation.
When will I cease learning these surprising facts about you, friend Ziv?
I hope to continue to surprise you as long as we associate.
This envoy to the Red Forest, are you expecting any trouble, danger, bandits or brigands?
And I think Storna kind of she rubs her. She has like a tattoo on her forehead, and she's like she rubs it like not thinking about it. She's like, wait, I don't know. I never thought about that. I just got told recently. I guess it could be dangerous to travel there from here. I'll have to ask my master about that. I'm not sure.
We know where the Red Forest is.
I am putting it on the map right now.
Okay.
Even as you are speaking, I am putting
At
it
least
there.
I wasn't the only one who didn't know. I thought it was like some big secret.
Nope, it was something we hadn't yet established. So I put it down there. It is to the west of of Broken Shield.
What were these yellow diamonds on the map?
Those are resources that
Gotcha.
Yeah, valuable natural resources.
Hmm.
and then down to the south, I put the borderland ruins that
Thank you.
Samat has been asked to go to.
Well, I'm going to be going down that way to the south.
And yeah, she just looks over to Samat, just like, wow, fortune is written. I can't believe that. I would love it if you could escort me. I don't know if my master has some kind of plans, but if anything, she looks around like, hopefully Ivana doesn't notice this, but she's like, I don't see a better warrior here.
Well, I mean, I think fortune has favored me some of the days that I've fought, more so than skill.
Ivana says, it certainly has.
Yeah, I don't want to steal. I mean, I'll help. I'll go with you as long as are you sure that I can trust the Arbiter? I mean, Ivana raised a good point. It's very hard for me to make up my mind here, but I do want to see these people, these strange people of the forest. So there's so many good reasons to go.
Well, I've been studying a lot of, just everything for most of my life. If not nature, then the history that the Arbiter has given us. And from that, I think I can safely say, certainly I think she can be trusted. I mean, actions speak louder than words, I suppose. But
Well, I'll hold her to her word. So if lands there are for my, I probably shouldn't say it out loud. Everybody, if there are lands down there that my clan can move to that are safe, I'll definitely come with you and help.
Wait, say that again, Samat. The horse lords will move to new lands in the south?
Voice down. The Arbiter said that if we could clear these lands out, that perhaps we could, our families could move there and be safe and not be, just where we are, cut in half by the aqueduct eventually.
So the construction of the aqueduct would be hastened by finding new homes for the horse lords.
Well, yeah, and then certainly I think I would better be able to convince some of the other clans. For as you know, we are not ruled by one in the horse lords, but by consensus. That if we have somewhere else to go to that is ripe for the plucking, then we might, the other clans might be more willing to participate in the building of the aqueduct.
Yeah, I think Ivana will kind of like glance over to Ziv and say, so perhaps if the church could lend its aid with the relocation of the horse lords, we would gain credit in the Arbiter's eyes for assisting with the aqueduct.
Oh, truly, and then Oksana has not seen a true warrior until she's seen you fight.
Ivana kind of does like stop, right? But she's clearly indeed flattered by this.
I feel like we've got something framed up for next time. We've got a couple of directions we can go. And what we'll do is we'll look at those two ways. Keep in mind that not everybody has to go. If we zoom in on one of those things, you can make up a quick character to go in on it, which is also actually super fun.
Yeah, it
because
is.
you get to make somebody up on the fly, and they are both amazing and made of paper mache. But we'll do that. So Ziv, you don't necessarily have to go, if you don't want to. But we do have a connection with you with the Red Forest. We can follow up on that. What I'd like to do is we'll stop here at the start of next session, just to kind of get a flavor for things. We'll go around and we'll do a house move from every house, just so you get a feel for what scale those operate on. Imagining that as you are traveling, these are the things that are going on in the household, whether you're searching for information, trying to get a surplus, moving things around. We'll check in with each house and do that. And then we'll look at what we want to zoom into, and we'll kind of move back and forth between those levels. Does that seem cool?
Yeah, sounds
Yeah,
great.
seems good.
So I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to stop the recording, and we'll do just a quick stars and wishes, if you don't mind. I'm going to stop this.